Alright, so why do I think that coronavirus is going to have a second wave, a third wave, and a gazillion waves until the world actually shuts down everything for a good 4 or 5 months? Is because of fucking human nature. That's why. Every single pandemic we've ever had, in the last 5 pandemics, 4 of them had more than one wave. And the reason for that is because people don't take it seriously until there's a point of no return. Also, for the record, I'm not talking about those smart people that already know the dangers of this pandemic. When you look at the infection rate, just because it's not killing as many people, it's still spreading faster than pretty much anything we've ever encountered in a very long time. So here's the steps of what usually happens in a pandemic. At first, the scientists freak out and then let everybody else know to also freak out. So then everybody else freaks out. And then the government shut down everything. And then after a few days pass, they realize, wait a minute, we're losing a ton of money and the economy is halted. It becomes garbage. So the fucking economy is trash now. So as a government official, you're gonna freak the fuck out and try to reopen it regardless of the other implications. Whether the pandemic's gonna increase or decrease, it doesn't matter. Because if nobody's running the businesses, then nobody gets food. Nobody gets anything at all. You can't shut down the economy. So that's kind of a fucked up situation for a politician to be in, right? You either open the economy and you lose a lot of lives, or you don't and you also lose a lot of lives. Another thing people don't even consider is grocery shopping. Everybody in the goddamn world needs food. So where do you think all this spread is gonna start from? If you shut down literally everything in the planet and you don't have delivery service on every single household, then you will have a spread of the infection, because people with COVID and people without COVID still need food. So how do you go around that? You can't. All right, so what does all this mean in the first place? Well, the main thing is that unless you have a vaccine, you're not safe anywhere on the planet. Look at countries like China and Korea when they reopened before everybody else. What ended up happening? Now they have a second fucking wave. And if you see the footage of those Chinese airports, you gotta get sprayed like 5-6 times before you even get to the plane. So they're doing everything they can, and it's still not enough. So what does that tell you? It tells you, no matter what you do, unless you have a vaccine, it's all null. And see, here's the thing about vaccines. The earliest a vaccine has ever been made is 5 years. If it takes 5 years for the human race to make a vaccine, and that's the best we can ever do, the average is 20 years. So the fact that the government is saying you can get this in a year makes no fucking sense. But you know what? It's good that we're putting that effort in. That's the message you should be taking. Don't expect a vaccine to actually be out. So right now there's about 12 companies working their ass off for this. There's some companies in America. There's a lot of companies in America. Bill Gates is funding like 5 companies himself. But there's a gazillion people working towards this one goal. But take this in, AIDS didn't have a vaccine. It still doesn't have a fucking vaccine. So just because the whole world is working on something doesn't necessarily mean we're actually making progress in that direction. And the reason for that is because viruses mutate like a motherfucker. They're so fast at mutating. Someone lives 100 years. The only mutation you're gonna have is if that guy has a child, and if they don't, then that DNA code dies with that person. But when it comes to viruses and bacteria, they die and are born in seconds. So every iteration can improve much faster. And that's the main problem with vaccines. All right, so let's say we get a vaccine in a year. Somehow, miraculously, the freaking world figures this code out, even though coronavirus is known to be one of the most quickly mutating viruses out there. With a vaccine, what do? We have to now put it on every single person on the planet. So whatever company makes it has to make 8 billion units worth of doses in order to actually facilitate it. At the very minimum, that's gonna take months. But now, here's the thing. If at any point in those months, even one person dies from the vaccine or something goes wrong with the vaccine, guess what? The vaccine is now useless because nobody trusts a vaccine that has even a 0.00001% death rate or any complications. We just want something that cures us without any of the bad stuff, you know? Okay, so as a human species, why is it that we're always so positive about things like a cure and stuff like that? It's because we're used to cyclical situations where it's not real life. We're used to bad times passing and good times staying. In fact, we're pretty coddled as a society if you think about it. The last time something like this happened, it led to some crazy things like the Great Depression and then eventually World War III. Right now, I don't think we'll have that. They used to have lineups for people, like you'd wait 12 hours just to get a slice of bread or a loaf of bread for your family, and then that's your ration for the month or for the week. Now you don't have that problem. You have farmers with all this cool efficiency and all that. So the amount of supply we have in terms of food is way more than where it was way back during the Spanish flu. And if you think about the internet, it's like a hive mind. A single person like Kim Jong-un can get a heart attack and everyone in the world can know about it in a few hours because everybody's got Twitter. Or if you don't have Twitter, you're gonna hear about it from someone that does. And so information is passed around really, really fast nowadays. And because of that, it might be possible that it's not gonna repeat the way the Great Depression did, but it'll definitely fuck up the economy. See, the reason the human population is so bad at dealing with pandemics is because we rarely have them. So the rarer an event, the less likely we have contingency plans for it. Because if you're thinking about what was happening to the world before COVID, everything was on overdrive. People are hustling like crazy. People are racking debt like crazy because it's this machine that you can't kind of stop. So the only thing that can actually stop it is natural causes like this. But once it happens, nobody knows how to fucking react. So you have all this. Technically, it is a reaction to the pandemic. It's just not the right reaction. If you think about stimulus packages, they're giving money to businesses that are gonna fire their employees anyway. They're doing CERB, they're doing some kind of equal income opportunity for everyone. But at the end of the day, it's not nearly enough for the economy, and what it's doing is inflating the currency instead of actually solving the problem, which is you need a functioning economy. If no one's buying and selling, then you don't have a fucking economy. You can't just pump money and then expect that to change the whole way we live. So what's the solution to all this? Well, it's pretty obvious, but there's two solutions. One of them being you just let it play out the course that it's supposed to, and you have the death toll in the hundreds of millions. One of the scientists expects that 40% of the world's population is going to catch COVID by the end of this pandemic. If 3% of people are dying from COVID, that means that's about 100 million. That's way over 100 million dollars. Well, not dollars, people. That's 100 million people going to have to die if you want to play this out regularly. And if you want to wait for a vaccine, then you have to cripple the economy for a good year and a half. It's going to take a long while before they come up with a vaccine. So until a vaccine is out, you pretty much have to have a standstill in the whole world where people aren't interacting with people, which is, I think, unreasonable. So both the solutions that make sense are unreasonable, which means you're going to end up with shitty solutions, which is going to cause way more damage, way more impact, and who knows what else. Also, another thing that's going to be awesome is bicycle riding downtown is going to be way more fun now. So really, is it a bad thing that the economy is dying? Maybe we need a reset. Maybe we need to change the way we think about income, change the way we think about everything else. But for now, we're going to have to go through some really messed up steps before we come to those realizations. Yeah, thanks for watching. Peace. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed that video. Yo, what's up? This is Saeed. Hope you enjoyed that video. If you did enjoy it, feel free to subscribe. Yo, what's up? So, if you enjoyed that video, please subscribe. That's so stupid.